And their opponent this afternoon, would you please welcome from Italy, Jannik Sinner.
The man who has been enjoying his stay in the rankings penthouse, starting a 31st week today. The 2024 season was otherworldly, and in order to try and defend his title, this is where he starts. My name is Robbie Koenig, delighted to have 10 times major champion alongside me, and John Fitzgerald. Fitzy, a warm welcome.
Thank you, Robbie. From you, it always feels warmer than warm. It really does. Thanks for bringing me onto the court with you here, and it's a special day when you can come onto Rod Laver Arena and see the defending champion start his campaign.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I tell you what, it's a campaign that is not going to be an easy one. Certainly first up, we know that top seeds are always quite vulnerable in the opening matches. He hasn't played coming in here. Jarry has beaten him before. So it's going to be fascinating how the first couple of games, first set, shakes out.
Yeah, doing well. We've got Halliday here doing our coin toss. First of all, from me for the towel, this side blue, this side red. The ball kids cannot bring the towel, so you go get the towel. But the ball kids can fill up your drink bottle, so if you need more water, give it to the ball kid, they can do that. If you want to challenge, we have the video review, so you can challenge not up, touch, hindrance, foul shot. But you cannot challenge foot fault, you cannot challenge service let or a violation. Any questions? If you want to stop play, make it nice and clear, say something. All right, Halliday, who did you want to ask? And what are you asking? AO or John? AO is the call, go for it, Halliday. What is it? It's John, this side. Receive? Perfect, photo that way, right in the middle there, Halliday.
Fitzy, have they emboldened you on a coin already? Are you that big
Stop
time?
it, no.
Thanks, guys.
That was John Newcomb. Now, what a player he was. 3-time Wimbledon champion. And yeah, his legacy will remain for a long time, Nuke.
One of the all-time great Aussies, so many of them. Of course, Tom Sweeney providing a bit of Aussie flavour to this encounter. He'll be the chair umpire. And Nicolas Jarry is a big boy from the beautiful country of Chile. We talk about wild landscapes, especially down there in the south in Tierra del Fuego. He's had a good career as well. He's got 3 titles to his credit. He's played some of his best tennis, perhaps surprisingly for his size, Fitzy, on a clay court.
Yeah, well, he probably has more time. He would have learnt his craft on that. He had some pretty good teachers in his family. What a beautiful family he comes from. The Fiols, his grandfather, his great uncle. Jaime was one of the initiators of the ATP Tour in the 70s. So regards to them if they're watching. Beautiful family and a great tennis one.
This guy's a great player, just 23 years young. He's won multiple majors, won 2 last year. He bookended his season, and his record on hard courts was from a different stratosphere. He's already won 18 titles, $37 million in prize money. Well, tennis is so often about matchups, and these two have played on 2 previous occasions. The head-to-head will pop up in a bit, but for me, there's so much to discuss about a first-round matchup. Just give us an idea of what it's like, that first match when you're one of the top seeds, the top seed on this occasion, Fitzy. Why would you feel nervous?
Well, I haven't experienced it. So I'm prefacing it by saying that, Robbie. So I really wouldn't know to be sure. But no, I imagine he knows how confident he is. He knows these familiar surroundings now. He's staying in the same hotel room that he stayed in last year, so he's reinvigorated his senses about this whole experience last year. He'll be nervous. The whole thing starts again. He's got to defend that amazing 2 weeks, the fortnight he had 1 year ago. But he'll be, I think underlying all of that, he'll have confidence enough to do it because his year's been so good and he's had this experience before. But he'll be very wary of Nicolas, lost to him before and knows what quality he is.
Jarry is the highest ranked player to play a #1 seed in the first round at a major since Djokovic defeated Kohlschreiber. Kohlschreiber was ranked 33 at the time, since 2015. So it's theoretically the toughest draw that a #1 seed player has had in the last 8 years.
And that makes sense because at 32, 32 of the top seeds in this event get seeded these days. Used to be 16.
Yep.
32 now, and he's currently 34, but he's been as high as 16. So he is a world-class player, this young man. He's a big boy, he's 6'7", and he's got some game. He's got a heavy serve.
Yeah, he's played on some big arenas, so
yeah,
you get the feeling he's not going to be that intimidated. There's always that settling in period, but you know, a finalist at Rome a couple of months ago on the hallowed courts of the Foro Italico. He came second to Sasha Zverev on that occasion, did Jarry, but you would think that Jannik on this surface would definitely have his measure.
Well, on paper, yes, but this is a serious matchup and not one to be taken lightly by the #1 seed. You know, rarely do they lose the next year coming in again, but it happens.
I mean, what a day after the rain that we had yesterday. Big thunderstorms and thunder showers.
5 tiebreak sets.
Melbourne Park is showcasing herself in all her glory. The rain just cooled things down a little bit. It is pretty warm today, but not as hot as we have seen over the years.
The ball will fly a little bit out there today.
Yep.
You know, in the dry heat of the Australian summer, this is not a brutal one at all, but it'll be spicy. A little bit of warmth, and these balls will come off this surface a bit faster than they would either at night or an overcast day.
Yeah, but so much premium on serving. Of course, that is always the foundation of the men's game, but how well you can then return. How effective can you be in making meaningful returns? We'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. So we're just about good to go. Jannik Sinner is the young man who sits atop the world rankings, but whose 2024 season was turned on its head. And he begins his quest down under to defend his Australian Open title.
First set.
It's one of the toughest first round matchups ranking-wise since Wimbledon 2015. Let's see how this one shakes out. John Fitzgerald alongside me. Nick Monroe will be courtside.
$15 left.
Gee, what a shot that is. Let's not underestimate that. Out of the blocks.
13.
And the balance that this man has with his legs, how low he gets. He was pressed there onto the backhand wing and controlled that low backhand down the line with precision that is rare for most players. Straight out of the blocks. No backward step there either.
13-15.
Short backswing here from Jarry that just controls this ball and gets it down the other end very quickly on the return.
The centerpiece of this facility, the Rod Laver Arena. Right adjacent to it, you saw the terracotta colored roof of Margaret Court Arena. We'll keep an eye on the Sinner serve. He said he's made a couple of adjustments to it. Very fine tuning. Just, you can see it in the start.
He's trying to take that second ball early, isn't he? Inside the baseline, trying to put some pressure back on Sinner.
And just to give you an idea of how good Sinner is on a hard court, back in 2024, he won 53 of the 56 matches that he played on the surface. He won 42 of them in straight sets.
Expect that more often, Jannik, if you miss the first serve.
40-30.
This is preconceived from Jarry to take that ball early and attack the second serve.
That's a nice change-up. And of course, if you want to change up from myself and Fitzy, you'll be able to hear the dulcet tones of Nick Munro sitting courtside. Welcome, Nick.
Thanks, Robbie. Thanks, Fitzy. Man, it is a hot one down here. You know, you were talking about the heat. It's about 79 degrees Fahrenheit, and so the ball is definitely moving quickly through the air. And I think, you know, for Nicolas Jarry, as we saw in that first game, he's going to look to try to take the ball early, try to put Sinner on defense. And I think he's really got to do that early on in the match, right, when these balls are brand new and they're moving through the air quicker, because later, you know, the balls get a little bit bigger and a little slower. But he definitely has one game plan, and that's to try to take it early. So, you know, it's one of those things. Will he be able to keep up that change, or that, you know, distinctness of his mentality, and how effective can he be?
Nick is parked courtside, one of the elite seats in the house. You realize that when you sit courtside, you watch these guys live, just how good they are, how dynamic the movement is, how hard they hit the ball. How do they manage to keep it in? That's what blows my mind.
Well, the personal intent is there, isn't it, to attack from Jarry? You can tell straight away he's going after this, or anything that's short, straight away. Look at that extension. When you're an athlete of 6'7", that makes a difference. Over 2 meters before the arm goes up, he's got great trajectory down into the court. And of course, this serve comes through differently than a lot because of the height and the extra bounce. So the angle you're meeting the ball down the other end it's quite different.
Yeah, guys, after that ace right there, he gave a little alley, and you can just feel the intensity from him right now. He knows how important it is to get off to a good start, try to get a hold here. And he's playing the top player in the world, so he's got to get off to a good start.
I'm not sure it'd be my favourite thing, though, to have to serve and volley against this backhand.
I tell you what. You better know how to hit a low volley. The good thing is, though, you knew how to hit a low volley, Fitzy.
Not that good. This backhand is something special.
I mean, it's a three-pronged attack, isn't it? The serve, the forehand, the backhand. There's just no reprieve when you're playing Sinner. The intent. I like the fact that he's coming at him, trying to rush him, and it's always nice when you get that first meaningful digit alongside your name.
Robbie, we're privileged, aren't we? We sit here, we watch tennis, we get a free seat, so to speak, and watch. I get the privilege of being guided through matches by Robbie Koenig and Mark Petchey. In the old days, I learned a bit of that craft from Australian broadcasters, Sandy Roberts, Bruce McAvaney, and the great Gary Wilkerson, who I hear is there this week.
Yes.
He's in town.
Love that man.
15.
Well, they were from a great era of Australian sport, and I wonder what some of them have commentated at this modern version of the Australian Open. But what a place it is now, and the characters that have gone through it, and Sinner's at a long line of those characters.
It's 11.
It's one of the most improved shots on tour last year. The numbers on serve were phenomenal. Finished in the top 5 for both service points won and return games won.
Can you explain that to me a bit? Service games.
It's such a rarity, actually. There's a lovely article by someone who I follow quite religiously. I think he is in-depth knowledge of the game. An analysis of it, Jeff Sackman, has written a beautiful article about Sinner's 2024 season and how he was able to back the numbers that he posted in 2023, back them up again in 2024, which is so hard to do. Finish in the top 6, I should say.
14, 15.
Both returning and serving. And the greats of the game have only done it on one occasion, bar one. And that was Novak Djokovic, the only other guy to do it twice. Sinner is in that company now, the likes of Agassi, Federer, Nadal. So when someone's serving well and they're returning brilliantly, that's when you get a season like he had in 2024, Fitzy. 8 titles looking to defend here. He's got a 2-1 lead. You know your flags? That's the Chilean one. And Forza Italia. Isn't she beautiful? There's a lot more shaded area now. That's been increased to make the fan experience even more enhanced one. tennis majors are 4 of the biggest annual sporting events. And they're all very different. The players just love coming down under for the first one of the season, the Happy Slam. And every time we arrive here, we're always keen to see what changes, what upgrades have been made to the facilities. Craig Tiley and his team always looking to enhance this magnificent sporting precinct.
Great reaction from Sinner. Yeah, Craig Tiley says that his team endeavours to change 50% of what the public see each year.
Wow.
Ongoing. So no wonder there's innovation here. No wonder it keeps getting better. And I've got a feeling this man's game over the next 3 or 4 years is going to be the same. He's going to continue to improve.
Lovely serve, using his height to exploit that angle out wide. And we've spoken about the fact he comes from some serious tennis pedigree, does Nico Jarry. Of course, his uncle was my doubles partner, Martin Rodriguez, very good player, coached him for a while. His dad was one of the early presidents, or his grandfather, excuse me, was one of the early presidents of the ATP.
30-15.
And family very much involved in the tournament down in Viña del Mar.
That's big. He gets that near the line, there's not much you can do. Only 183, but this had bounce and swing as well. Look at the way this takes off and continues.
They'll settle you into a match.
Guys, this is really a confident start from Nicolas Jarry. You know, he's 2-1 so far in this year, and I was able to speak with his uncle earlier today, and he said, look, he had one of the best preseasons he's really ever had. He continues to work with his coach, Cesar Fabregas, but also a new coach, Pepe Checa. And Pepe Checa helped Ilya Ivashka get to 40 in the world, and he did his preseason in Barcelona, and he said he just really feels confident going into this year and feels like he can play his best tennis. So it's been a confident start so far from Nicolas Jarry.
Quite an up and down season for Jarry.
Love 15.
And one of the reasons for that, Nick, we were discussing it before we came on air, was he got vertigo and he had some serious problems with his ears, and that's why he struggled so much to play. He had that excellent run in Rome where he made it to the finals of Masters 1000 there for the first time, and then thereafter he was struggling a lot with his health.
Struggled with vertigo, and now he has what's called vestibular rhinitis, and that's something that he's probably going to have forever, and it really kind of deals with the balance that he has in his ear. You know, it's affecting his ear, affecting his balance, but you know, it seems like he's getting better from that, and he's moving extremely well, and he's going to have to against Sinner because this is the best mover in the world.
15-30.
Nick, I just got a text from Carlos Alcaraz. He said, did you just say that Jannik is a better mover than me?
You know what? Reading a little bit of the articles that I saw earlier today, you know, Alcaraz said, look, Sinner's in my head when we have practice sets. I mean, that guy's just moving so well. He's hitting the ball so big. But yeah, how fun is it when we watch those two battle? But yeah, watching Sinner slide into these shots from down here is just something epic.
There's no question Jerry's going to have to play out of his comfort zone to get the win today. And I think you are going to see him take on those kind of shots, Fitzy.
Well, I think he should. I mean, you need to risk a bit more to gain reward, don't you, at times? And maybe, you know, he's a big man. Getting into the right position, being perfectly balanced is possibly not easy sometimes. And maybe he was slightly off balance for that one. But I think he's got to go after it. Again, a fraction early. I mean, that's
14.
Wanting to finish the point against a very good player. Maybe a bit too early, but there's Darren. There's Darren Cahill.
Can't get away from these South Australians.
Yeah,
Got one next to me.
Well, I'm going to name drop. He's a good mate of mine, Darren. And this is a quality person. You'd want him in your corner.
Yeah, especially with everything he's been through in the last 7 or 8 months. Done well to get out of that game. And Jannik has a 3-2 lead in the opening sets here, round 1 of the 2025 AO. Simone Fagnozzi next to Killer. Just behind in the blue shirt there, sitting behind Killer, is one of Jannik's oldest and best friends, Alex Vitur, who used to play tennis, got to about 600. Someone that he trusts implicitly to be part of his team. He's known him since he was a teenager. Marco Panici brought him right. He's a strength and conditioning coach, of course, worked with Novak for many years.
I bet there's some good skiers in that group.
Kidding. There's some skiing in Adelaide.
Maybe not including Darren. I'm not sure.
Okay.
He can play a bit of Australian rules football, but I'm not sure about skiing.
That's a team that Sinner's really needed around him. Of course, testing positive on 2 occasions earlier this season. That came out. The results of all of that, the tribunals, right after he won Cincinnati, and it was big news. Obviously, everybody had a lot of opinions about it. Jannik himself was devastated when he first heard of the positive tests.
that, doesn't he? It's obvious. That's where he knows he can hit some winners if he's good enough to make that shot down the line. It's more risk. And he's missed a couple early, but this is perfect.
Guys, I just love the court positioning from Nicolas Jarry. I mean, he's trying to stay as close to the baseline as he can because he knows that's the best way for him to try to get Jannik Sinner on the move. You know, when you're playing a guy that moves just as well as Jannik Sinner, he knows he has to kind of play out of his shoes a little bit. And that's what he's doing, and he's finding some winners.
Sinner is here for the second serve. I wonder if that visually had an effect on Jarry there. He'll need to get used to that, because after that double fault, we will see it again.
I reckon he's probably, what, 3-4 meters there, Nick, behind the baseline at least.
At least. See if Nick measures in meters or in yards.
Funny guys, yeah, no, we're measuring feet in Texas, but yeah, no, he's about 20, I'd say about 15 feet behind the baseline, and it's really changing up what Nicolas Jarry's trying to do. So we'll see if he tries to spread the court a little bit when Jannik Sinner moves further back.
It's about 4.5 meters, I'd say, Nick, by the way.
I'll take that. I like it.
Of course, Jarry had to go through positive tests himself back in 2019. He ended up being banned from the tour for almost a year, between December of 2019 and December of 2020, and he spoke about that. He was asked about it pre-tournament, especially when the journalist saw that he was taking on Jannik Sinner. It's a good hold. I guess it gives us some insight as to what the locker room is thinking. He says, I don't like to talk about it too much, but it's something that's always lived in my head. He says that he does wish that he could have got a bit more support, perhaps the similar sort of support as to what Jannik got.
Yeah, you know, look, I mean, it's one of those things where you train as hard as you do to be the best player you can be, and you know, he wants to be top 10, top 5, #1 in the world, and you want respect from the players as well, right? You know, these are guys you see week in and week out, and then to have to go through a positive test and to have guys, you know, second guess and look at you differently just can't be easy on the mind.
Yeah.
You know, and I know Nico Jarry pretty well, and he's just an extremely nice guy, pretty quiet around the locker room, kind of stays within himself, and, you know, you would never imagine that he would, you know, do something that would try to enhance his performance, and, you know, look, he's an ultimate professional, and I think he's excited now to be kind of playing some of his best tennis.
plenty of
15.
forays forward. I'll make it the 15th time he's come in, Fitzy, and again, somebody who passes, excuse me, the 5th time, someone who passes as well as Sinner. He's won 4 of the 5. It's good going. Of course, his was contaminated substances as well. And Jarry eventually was able to prove that, but he ended up being away from the game for pretty much a year.
I guess in my ignorance to a degree, if you can prove that you didn't deliberately take it, if you can prove that, and if you can prove that it's not enhancing, then shouldn't all of us be looking to not hurt young careers, valuable careers, if they didn't know those two things, or if they could prove both of those two things? That's my question. Why would we hurt their careers if they didn't know and it wasn't performance enhancing?
And the second part's very important because WADA has changed their stance on that now after what's happened of late, Fitzy.
30 on.
They have decided that they need a threshold for a lot of these drugs, like you would if you were having a breathalyzer test for drinking and driving.
Now that makes sense. Makes sense. So, you know, maybe these two young athletes wouldn't have this cloud hanging over their head the same.
And of course, he'll be back for his final trial with WADA on the 16th of April. That date was cemented for Jannik.
40-30.
There'll be a lot of discussion between then and now, but hopefully that will finally draw a line in the sand.
So he's got to go back again after he's proved that he didn't know he took it, and he proved that it wasn't performance enhancing. Work that out.
Yeah, so WADA have decided they're not happy with the judgment of the ITIA. And it's the first time that I know that it's ever happened, certainly in tennis.
Playing some good stuff here, Jarry. He's dangerous, isn't he?
Guys, once again, Nicolas Jarry is stalking this baseline. I mean, he is not leaving that white line because he knows he's got to take advantage of any ball that he can. And, you know, it's impressive just to being able to stick with that mindset, right? Because sometimes you want to go into, let me just make balls, see if I can get through this. But look, as we talked about before, he has beaten Jannik Sinner in 2019 and Sertogenbosch. So even though it's 6 years ago, it kind of still lives in your head that, hey, I've done it before.
What was bothering him there, Nick?
Guys, it was a close-up of Jannik Sinner on the big screen, so as soon as he would toss the ball, he would actually see his face on the big screen, and that just affected him a little bit, and that's what took a little bit of extra time, and that affects your rhythm, right? You know, he's got a specific rhythm that he goes through and the paces, and you don't want anything to affect that, and then sure enough, that's where the double fault came from, and now Nicolas Jarry has got a sniff.
First break point.
He went for the serve, didn't he? 183 Ks on that second serve and must have just clipped the line.
Guys, that hit the back of the line. I'm pretty much sitting right on that service line, and I actually thought it was a double fault, but it caught a little bit of the line, and that's, you know, that's what these top players do. They come up with big time shots and big time moments.
Advantage, Sinner. Yes.
Oh, the margins in this sport are just so fine, aren't they? That second serve, millimeters in. I mean, that's how good it's got to be, right, when you're playing the best player on the planet?
Well, you know that Jarry's going to attack his second serve if he doesn't go after it, so therefore you press. And if you're good enough to hit it in,
Advantage, Sinner.
Oh, that'll work well. And just as Fitzy was alluding to about how much Jarry is going after his shots, have a look at the average top spin speeds for both players, forehand and backhand, Fitzy. Jarry's got him by some bit off both wings.
interesting, isn't it? And I think also on top of that, he's standing in to take the second serve, and his height helps him to stand up over that serve and smother it, taking it early and controlling the return, just as we saw. He looks dangerous.
Advantage.
It wasn't clean, but he'll take it, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, guys, Nicolas Jarry, you know, living in Chile, growing up there, he loves playing in Santiago where there's a bit of altitude, so he doesn't mind when the ball is coming fast at him, right? And these balls are coming quick from Jannik Sinner, but he's standing toe-to-toe with him, and it sounds like a soccer match down here. These fans are getting into it.
Another break point.
Your heart's in your mouth if you're Jannik Sinner, though, because you know Nicolas Jarry's going to go after it on the big point, don't you?
Absolutely. It's so easy to get tentative, isn't it, when somebody is coming at you? I just need to make this one back and play.
Well, this is a moment in the match where, you know, first serves become even more important, I think. When the second serve's in play, I think Sinner then is more under the pump, significantly so.
Advantage, Sinner.
He's getting a failing grade right now for first serves in. He's at 47%.
Yeah. You can almost see it, can't you, where the pressure's been mounting because of that stat.
Mm-hmm.
Game, Sinner.
Tucked up the big man beautifully with that
please.
second delivery. Some really good second serves. He's defended that shot so well,
Sinner
has the
leads by
Italian.
4 games to 3.
And he gets out of jail in that 7th game to lead 4-3. You know, we've spoken so much about what Jarry went through mentally when he had his doping issues, and that's where I marvel at what Sinner's been able to achieve. It's testimony to what a great head he's got on his shoulders. He's spoken openly about it, Fitzy, that of course it does affect him. But in his heart, he knows what he's done. He knows that there's been no intention. But still, to produce the results that he did at the tail end of the year was quite admirable. And in a tough little situation like that, again, it's that mental fortitude, how tough you are between your ears, that comes to show itself. And
Well, he's a special player.
Yep.
And when you look at those results, you isolate them, you look at them, you see how impressive they were. And he was the #1 player in the world last year, and
he didn't lose to a single player ranked outside the top 20.
is that right? Yeah. You are a font of knowledge, as always, Robbie, but we've got to start again. And this is a tough opponent. Nicolas Jarry showing a lot of intent here. Love the way he's come out to compete here. He's not taking a backward step, not at all. New balls. Well, that new ball kept swinging, didn't it?
15.
Kept taking off, and the further Sinner was back, it almost worked detrimentally against him. I think he had to go further and further, ended up dropping it short and was way out of court. Point was over.
He's only lost 1 point when he has landed that first offering as Nico Jarry. He's only lost 4 points in total on serve.
So make that 5, but he certainly hasn't had to face a break point yet.
15.
The brains trust there. Jannik Sinner just settling into this match. They might expect a long one here.
Now Simone on the right, of course, does the vast majority of the weeks. Very good friend of Jannik as well. He came on board when Sinner split with Riccardo Piatti. Really built the foundation of his game. One of the great coaches is Riccardo, not only in developing players, but also coaching them at the highest level. Massimo Sartori was the one who introduced Jannik to Riccardo.
40-15.
Do you recognize that name? Massimo Sartori was the coach of Italy's, what I call him, just a mental giant. I watched him play some incredible matches here. I'll share his name with you now. You'll remember Andrea Seppi.
Yeah.
what a competitor he was, eh?
From a similar part of Italy
That's right.
as this man.
Yep.
Yeah, you're missing his coach, Simone Bagnozzi. I played a lot of challengers and practiced with him back in the day, and Simone is one of those guys where didn't have a big game. He used some slice, drop shots, kind of had to find his way around the court, and I think that's what he's brought into Jannik Sinner, is just kind of using a little bit more variety. But, I mean, the depth out here from Sinner today is impeccable.
Sinner there again, changing his stance.
Yes.
Now, he's standing just in front of his team there, and they legally now can advise him at any time they want. I suspect that they suggested give yourself a bit more room on that second ball. Wait for the bounce of the Jarry serve to kick itself out, so to speak, and then make a good return. Here he goes. They're both thinking. Jarry there tried to counteract the depth of stance.
Advantage.
But Sinner got that famous forehand around the outside of that ball and dropped it low, made it a tough volley. And here's his first chance.
Did all the hard work, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of players are a bit stubborn at times when they return. They like to stand in the same spot. They don't want to adjust it too much. But, I mean, I've seen Jannik Sinner change so many positions on that deuce and that side, and it's really confusing Nicolas Jarry. He's trying to decide, do I serve him volley? Do I come forward? What do I do? But it just shows the thinking that Jannik Sinner is doing out here. Amazing.
We just get the feeling this could be a tipping point in the opening set.
Advantage Sinner.
Previous game, Jarry's got 2 looks at break points, doesn't convert. Sinner's not serving particularly well. He's having to rely on a second serve. Jarry's up 40-15 in this game. If he gets broken, it's a big momentum shift. Second chance for Sinner. Properly good serve.
Yes.
One of the joys of being as tall as he is.
Increase that angle. It's almost unfair for little guys like us, isn't it, Robbie?
You should have a line that if you know, whatever your height is, you can step forward a bit, make it all equal.
With the lines or what?
Guys, Nicolas Jarry is absolutely bone crushing the ball out here. You talk about flirting with the lines. He was standing inside the baseline. Good shape on the forehands, but I mean, he is just going for it. He knows he can't just move the ball around and hope something's going to happen. He's really trying to make it happen right now. And I believe that's 7-9 on the net points won. Impressive.
I mean, that graphic gives us a wonderful visual of how close it is.
It really did. Great graphic there. Just proved what risk he was taking, and he had to.
Let us.
hat hold for Nico Jarry. This match is
4 games on.
nicely poised after 8 games. Both players have had chances to break. It's not always an easy shot when
No.
you're running forward to hit that smash, and you can see how far in front of himself he hits that.
The good news is, Robbie, we're thinking the same.
Coach is happy.
It came into my head too. He had to get the angle of that racket face just right. Well, a couple of times he's
15
wrong-footed, Nicolas Jarry, and that's, you know, pretty logical thing to do against a guy that's this big. He starts moving to his left quickly, and that's hard to change direction there. Great forehand again from Sinner.
Third sealer.
Helen.
Love. Jannik Sinner.
Yeah.
Sinner leads by 5 games to 4.
Mixing up the serve nicely. It's 5-4. It might be worth taking a look at how this guy goes about returning serve, and Fitzy, we can see he is way back. He's almost in the CBD when he's making contact with some of these returns.
Well, he is, and you know, occasionally the second serve, that's the average, but occasionally that second serve will even be further back, it seems. And you know, our esteemed colleague there, Nick Munro, suggested 15 feet, which is probably around, off the top of my head, 4.5 meters or just under that maybe. It's a long way back at times. So he's giving himself time to let the ball reach its peak and start to descend. And that's caused by the bounce of his very tall serving opponent. So he's thinking and changing on the run.
It's day 2 of the Australian Open 2025. It's the 38th year that we're playing in Melbourne Park. We've had some great champions over the years. I'll never forget 88. That was when I was in my teenage prime, watching Cashy and Wilander go at it. What a final that was. I was a big Cashy fan. I was disappointed when he lost to Mats, and I tell Mats that too.
How does he take it?
Well.
Well, he won the match, so it wouldn't bother him at all, I wouldn't think.
Yep. You talk about mental toughness at a young age.
Oh,
right?
what a player, what a leader he was for that Davis Cup team as well in the 80s.
15 all.
Oh, he'd be disappointed there, Sinner. Just dragged that one. It caught the end of his frame a little bit and dragged further to his right. Gee, he had the ball there potentially on his strings to really get involved in that rally.
Speaking of leaders in Davis Cup, you can throw Sinner in that mix as well. Won it back-to-back years now. Especially the one at the tail end of 2023 when he saved those match points against Novak. Beat Serbia in the semis. That was huge.
Still so disappointed that is not best of 5. Great matches, the memorable ones.
30-15.
They're rarely best of 3.
Jarry very much involved in the Chilean Davis Cup team. They'll be playing the end of February, beginning of February, excuse me.
Well, you don't get too many chances against a serve like this. And Sinner missed 2 opportunities in this game. You don't take those, you're probably not going to break.
Game, Jarry.
We like a good away swinger
5
in
minutes.
these parts, don't we?
Oh, yeah. In your parts too.
Oh, yes.
I think in Nick's parts too, just a different sport, Robbie.
Yeah, I guess a good pitcher in baseball. Breaking ball.
The
I guess what they call it.
breaking ball, the curve ball, you know, as we talk about as a server, yeah, you want to be a good pitcher, right? You want to change up the pace, the spin, the jump on it. And that's what Nicolas Jarry now found in that game. Back to 5 all, but these guys are finding some good ways to get through games.
15 left.
Nick, Robbie will throw you plenty of curveballs in commentary. We don't need to worry about too much else.
Well, I was going to say, Robbie, is it more cricket for you? I mean, I'm the baseball guy. I think you're the cricket guy.
We're the cricket guys. We've got the MCG just across the road, Nick. So that's the reference I was alluding to. And we've had some pretty competitive matches of late.
That's the MCG, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, which was which Olympic Games? The stadium for, Robbie? Come on.
58.
I'll give you a hint. Well, it was before you were born. Yes. 56. 56.
Guys, there's not many things Robbie doesn't know. I'm surprised he missed that one, but he was close. He was on it. 58, 56.
Yeah, Sydney's the one that stood out for me. It's one of my favorite Olympics of all time. That shot has been the kryptonite for Sinner.
30-15.
Backhand down the line. He's missed a few, but he's prepared to go after it. Here's Jarry. And when he's landed that shot, he's had Sinner in trouble.
We don't see Jannik Sinner off balance very much or very often against anybody. But Nicolas Jarry is taking that second serve return so far inside the baseline that if he's able to get a good cut on it, Jannik Sinner's really been struggling. And again, that first serve just isn't really finding its mark in these key situations right now for Jannik Sinner. He's got to shore up that part of his game.
40-30.
The man who led the service games won last year, and he just
Sinner
hold
leads by
again.
6 games to 5.
Going to take somewhat of a scenic route to hold, but he's got there. 6-5 first set. There's the MCG. The G, as the locals call it. We've seen some of the greatest cricketing contests take place. We saw some great competition over Boxing Day between India and Australia just a couple of weeks ago. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. In fact, when we were playing, Fitzy, I remember we used to be able to play a game against the Aussies, the Saffers and the Aussies would have a 20-over get-together, have a little barbecue on the side of the field on one of those side strips.
I remember we played on the MCG.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a privilege that was. What a precinct this is. 1956 Olympics was in that stadium, and so much more has been built since.
Pressure again on Jarry, just as he steps up to the line to serve and stay in this opening stanza. Perhaps fitting that it's decided by a breaker.
15 left.
It's been a rare occurrence, hasn't it, that a player of the returning capability of Sinner has only had fleeting chances against this serve or set.
I'd almost not be surprised if there are more Chilean fans than Italian fans out here. They're chanting chi chi chi, elele. They're getting behind their man right now.
Pretty good defence, wasn't it, from Jannik there to
30 all.
I was just thinking the same thing. We so often think of him as one of these ultimate attacking players, but he's got defense when he needs it.
the power from Jarry is impressive. You know, he must feel like he's up against the ropes at times. Phenomenal return when you consider where that serve went to. Perfectly placed, I thought, into the left hip of Sinner to cramp him up, but he's good enough to fend it off.
Incredible improvisation. That's some serious skill on display right there. And it doesn't come in the form of a winner. Subtle brilliance brings up a set point.
Well, he wasn't sure, Sinner. Between serves, he looked at his box to see if there was anything that might give him an indication to stand up or stand way back. The two options he's been using. This one doesn't work. Great serve, by the way.
Ever so slightly off balance, and that's all you need to be, and you end up missing it by an inch. And these guys are on balance. They are lethal, deadly accurate. Jarry's done well there.
Game, Jarry.
Fans are loving it. It's been a good contest so far.
Yeah, probably fitting, Robbie, isn't it?
I think the calmness from Nicolas Jarry is what I'm most impressed with right now. He was down that set point, just stayed calm, waited for his right opportunity, and now the fans are saying, chi, 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 LLA, it is getting hot out here.
Tie-break time.
Zero. Sinner.
If you're constantly trying to change directions like Jarry is there, from the cross court to the down the line, if you're the guy who's taking on the down the line all the time, you better have darn good timing, because that's one of the toughest things to do in our sport. The contact zone of accuracy is so small. Timing has got to be impeccable. You're just a little off with your strike, and that's what happens. The unforced error comes. You know, Nick, we so often bang on about the shot making
2-0.
and the winners, but for me, improvisation, like what we saw on that point, is as valuable, if not even more so.
100%. And these top players, when they get to a pressure moment like this, they just find a way to get one more ball back in the court, ask the question of Nicolas Jarry. And so far, he just found 2 unforced errors.
2-1, Sydney.
Jarry's not going to miss out on that miss it. So this opening set, 68 minutes in the making. Mini break has gone the way of Sinner. Brilliant. Controlled aggression at its
3-1
finest.
Sydney.
It's a fine margin, but that mini break makes a difference, doesn't it?
4-1.
Particularly when you're serving first. And you can consolidate. It looks like a big lead. Oh, the slow ball got him. It's interesting to know how often this works. Earlier point here from Sinner, just crushing a forehand. Look at the movement and balance.
Yeah, the court position almost 2 meters inside the baseline, so he has to abbreviate the swing. He's not trying to hit the ball hard because he is so far up the court, Fitzy.
Yeah, all he had to do was get that one in, didn't he? And then he comes up with a slice that makes Jarry generate his own pace, and he misjudged it. You are inclined to hit that ball more in the net than normal.
Yeah, it's amazing how Jannik Sinner just stayed so low down through that ball. And, you know, when he's playing this tiebreak, he looks so calm. He doesn't look like he's panicked. I'm sitting actually next to the great Jill Kravis, who was ranked 39 in the world in singles, and she actually interviewed him a couple years ago and said, "You always look so calm." And he goes, "Well, outside maybe it looks calm, but inside it's absolute chaos. But right now he looks extremely calm."
Sydney.
I've just enjoyed watching that great documentary on Ayrton Senna. And in the great man's words, your mental attitude will eventually define your success. And I think that's exactly what you were alluding to there, Nick. This guy's attitude is just bang on. Really has been a sagacious tie break.
6-2, Sydney.
Sagacious or bodacious?
First one. Shrewd.
Magnificent.
He's got 4 set points, Fitzy.
Game and first set.
That's
Sydney.
a nice way to punctuate it with power, but it was the subtle
7
brilliance
games to 6.
that gave him the lead. And he wraps up set number 1, 7 games to 6 in an hour and 13 minutes. as we just filter through some of the stats in the opening set. First serve percentage of Jarry was nice and high. Neither player got broken. Both had a couple of opportunities, 3 for Jannik, 2 for Nico. And we saw that shot particularly from the Chilean be really effective as backhand down the line.
He wasn't far away, was he, Nicolas, there? He was close all the way. An hour and 13 minutes to decide. It was a tough set. That may well have set the trend for this match. We'll see.
Just walked over the Tanderim Bridge, just at the bottom of camera shot, which links Melbourne Park and ushers thousands of fans to the Australian Open. It links Melbourne Park with the city centre. A lot of fans will come here on the train and then make their way over to this lovely facility. So much going on. If you do have a bit of a break between matches and you want to go and explore the outside courts, plenty of matches going on there. Great food and beverages to enjoy.
Jarry to serve.
Really is a 13-day extravaganza. Set number 2, Sinner Jarry. Just a reminder, if you weren't with us at the start of this one, I was just telling Fitzy that Jarry is the highest ranked player to play a #1 seed in round 1 at a major since Djokovic defeated world number 33 Philip Kohlschreiber at Wimbledon in 2015. So, you know, ranking wise, you could argue this is one of the toughest draws a #1 seed has had since that match.
Guys, isn't it just so crazy to think that Nicolas Jarry, ranked 35 in the world, lost in the first round of all 4 of the Grand Slams that he played last year. So he's trying to find a way to get through a first round of a major. And, you know, as you said, but he's so dangerous with that big serve and the big hitting the way he plays. He'll be looking to find a few more winners now.
$30.50.
A little adjustment to the equipment, so I think the chair umpire, Tom Sweeney, will give him a few extra moments.
I still don't understand it though, Robbie. The shot clock has been set at 24 seconds for 10 seconds. I mean...
No, but that was to allow the adjustment to the hat.
Okay.
Yeah, so with equipment you are allowed additional time. It's like if your laces break, you're allowed to change it, or the hat's not fitting right.
Call me facetious, but I don't think that's the only time it was stopped.
40-15.
I mean, that first set took over an hour and 15. It was a great set of tennis, contested well. It's just still a long time.
Do you think the guys are taking too long between the points?
A little bit, yeah. Warm day, I guess, but yeah, just a little bit.
Game, Jarry. First game, second set.
I think that Jarry will want to do more of the same, just do it better, or do you see him fine-tuning as far as tactics are concerned?
Well, I think for me, his tactics were pretty darn good. He really did try to hurt Sinner on the second ball when he got the chance, and he was more threatening at the beginning. See, here's another instance. I mean, I like what Sinner's done. He's walked straight past. He's gone down the other end. Zverev's good at that. Just keeps walking. It's meant to be continual here. This is taking a long time, and there's only one game being played. So I rest my case there. I mean, that's way too long.
Yeah, I agree with you, Fitzy. I mean, he wanted to get his water bottles filled up by the ball boy, and I think, you know, you could have done that at the change of ends after the set, you know, and Jannik Sinner, he's wanting to keep this thing moving. He's got some momentum, but Nicolas Jarry may be trying to take a little bit of extra time because this match has been just so physical already.
Yeah, and guess what? The shot clock was just put on.
I think we need to get Fitzy on the PGA Tour there with the shot clock.
Fitzy's all over these guys right now, huh? They can't even breathe.
I am, Nick.
I absolutely love it.
It's an old bugbear of mine. These matches are taking too long. They're good stuff, though. I'll give them that.
Nick, I'm keen to get your opinion on the pace of the court, please.
Yeah, you know, look, when they start the match with new balls and when they change to new balls, the ball's definitely moving quickly, but these Dunlop balls get pretty heavy after about the third or fourth game where the fluff starts to fluff up and it gets a little bit slower, and that still helps Jannik Sinner just with his ball striking, but Nicolas Jarry wants it as quick as it can be.
So do you see it as being a quicker surface than maybe last year, Nick? Can you remember last year that closely?
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit quicker, and that's what a couple of the guys I've been speaking to in the players' lounge and locker room have been saying. But definitely when it's hot and these are new balls, it is flying quick.
Game, Sinner. One game.
Yeah, we all like a quick hold. Fitzy's gesticulating to the shot clock. He hasn't seen it. He hasn't seen it. He still hasn't seen it. Hasn't started yet.
Oh, it's come on. It's come on this time. I've nearly had a seizure. 15 seconds later than it should have. So then he gets another 25 seconds. I'll keep quiet now, Nick. I've got it out of my system.
We got to let Nicolas Jarry just take a deep breath right now. He's feeling the barrage from Jannik Sinner at the moment.
Well, that's part of the one-on-one game of tennis. It took 40 seconds between points.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, but that's where the chair umpire, he's got to turn on the shot clock, right? I mean, that's not Nicolas Jarry's fault. He went to get the towel. He was definitely there for at least 8 to 10 seconds before it was turned on, so that's definitely up to the chair umpire to get that thing going.
Part of the reason why you can't squeeze 3 matches into a session these days. We've been reduced to 2 in the day session here on Rod Laver Arena, and it's still nearly going into the evening session.
But I like that. I think less is more in sport.
Yeah, no, better to have 2.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's an incredible ticket.
40.
An incredible serve.
Yep. For the amount of entertainment that you get, there's not many sports where you get that much entertainment. You go and watch, you know, think of worldwide sport. It's a good chunk of time you get to watch tennis, and then if you had your fill here, you could still go and watch great tennis on the outside courts. Sport for choice.
40-15.
Yeah, you're mentioning how long some of these matches are taking. An American fellow friend of mine, Francis Tiafoe, won in 4 hours and 8 minutes just not too long ago against Arthur Ringertnish. And these guys are just playing extremely long matches, but it's a testament to the work they do in the preseason and how fit they get to win some of these matches.
Game Jarry. New balls, please.
He's used that slider intelligently.
Jarry leads by 2 games to 1.
It's 2-1. Being number 1 seed, he sits at the top of the draw as Jannik Sinner. He'll await the winner of Tristan Schoolkate's Taro Daniel match. Tristan, of course, an Australian wild card. Doing battle right now, I can tell you. They are locked in an opening set tie break out on court number 7.
The question for me always is over these 5 sets whether you can maintain, who can maintain their level for longer and not have the valleys. They can all have their peaks, but can refrain from having too many valleys in their game over time.
Yeah. And low valleys, right?
Yeah.
You don't want them to be too deep.
No, little shallow valleys okay sometimes.
Yeah, I'd agree with you guys, and I think, you know, the biggest way to do that is, you know, I tell a lot of the kids and some of the pros that I help is you gotta kind of have the mind of a goldfish when you're playing tennis. You know, you make a mistake, you gotta forget about it immediately, and I feel like the top guys in the world, they make a mistake and move on literally immediately, and they're able to kind of stay in that positive mindset, and that's what we've seen from Jannik Sinner. We've been able to see that from Nicolas Jarry as well. So just being able to move on quickly helps you stay, you know, at the height of your game.
I was more like a goldfish that was on its back with no oxygen.
Love it.
Gulping for air. Well, he's still hard to break, that's for certain.
15 love.
He's been good at the net. There's Jarry, 11 of 14. Some of those have been easy putaways, others he's had to work a little harder for. That's just been his modus operandi. Knows he has to be all-out attack. Gorgeous. Right out of the top drawer.
30 love.
Jannik Sinner just makes you play one more ball. I mean, what an approach shot right on the baseline. But Jannik Sinner, he stays so low on all of the shots, right? It's coming in quickly. He stays low, just finds a way to make one more. But as you said, Robbie, out of the top drawer, soft hands on the volley.
Tell you that when Jarry's hit that first serve out wide on the juice court, he's only lost 2 points when he's made it.
Jarry leads
Couple of love
by
holes.
3 games to 2.
And we're well into the second set, so after 5 games, we're on serve. Joys of being as tall as Nicolas Jarry, just over 2 meters, 2 meters and 1 centimeter. There's a good view of the serve box. We've got some spectacular views of the Yarra River. It's the way you would walk from the CBD, one of the ways anyway, across the bridge down to Melbourne Park. It's the place to be in Australia at this time of the year. You enjoyed your cricket a couple of weeks ago. Follow up with some world-class tennis. And the only major that has 3 retractable roofs. Ahead of their time here. And of course they needed all 3 of them yesterday when we had some tremendous thunder showers. Still playing catch up on the schedule today. It's a busy one. Good news is that the opening round gets played over 3 days here. Got a bit of wriggle room.
15 love.
Guys, after Jarry missed that return, he said, bien, bien, bien. He was telling himself, that's good. Keep going for it. Keep staying aggressive. And, you know, that's what you want to tell yourself. Even though he missed it by about 10 feet, he definitely has that aggressive mentality.
Therein lies
15
an example. Another early return, and it rushed Sinner. That's his objective. Jarry. Clever. I like the play again. A good change up from Jarry. He's trying something different and he's trying to pressurise the #1 seed. Good approach, but this is a clever reply. Dips it short, takes the speed off that ball and makes it difficult for a big athlete there to get down.
Yeah, slow and low really does test your creativity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's the hardest for a volleyer.
You know, I used to tell my son that, Robbie, and then he'd hear you say it on the TV. And for some reason, he'd listen more when you said it.
We're all learning something when Robbie's throwing it out there slow and low. I love that.
Low and slow.
That's why we love Patrick.
Yeah.
I hope he's listening.
Oh, well, I hope he is. Bit of a groupie to Robbie Koenig, really. He's a fan. Oh, clever.
Sinner.
That's pure class.
Three games.
Yeah, it's a frozen rope of a forehand. That ball does not deviate on its path.
You know, against so many other guys on the tour, I mean, they're going to come up with a short ball off of that reply, and Jarry's going to take an approach shot and get to the net. But Jannik Sinner just moves so well. And again, you know, a fast hit ball to him, it doesn't even, he just stays so calm about it, right? He doesn't, his blood pressure doesn't go up, his heart rate doesn't go up. He stays so calm, stays so low. And that's what makes it so impressive.
I often wonder if it's a skiing thing, because of course he was a top skier in Italy, wasn't he, growing up, Jannik, until the age of about 13, as was the case with Novak. They both move like panthers around the court, so disciplined, getting low.
Oh, case in point, Robbie. Gee, that was beautiful. If you could have isolated that camera shot on Sinner there, how low he was, how balanced, and how strong his leg strength is. A beautiful thing it was to watch.
Someone in the crowd just said, winner, winner, center, chicken dinner. That was what it was right there.
Is that an Australian saying? Do you know? Winner, winner, chicken dinner?
I feel like we should just go with it.
Is this Sinner making his move? Didn't do a lot wrong, Jarry. Maybe just overplayed the drop volley.
Love 30.
Tough shot to hit there to take the speed off that. He got it to stop a little bit, but Sinner was there with ease. His class exuding there. A sniff of a chance, a window of opportunity.
Well, worth remembering, neither player has been broken yet on serve. Sinner's had 3 break points. Nicolas has had 2, unable to convert.
Too good. Too good. All you could do there from Sinner was what he did do.
30.
He had a lot of time to think about this overhead.
As you said, guys, it almost just doesn't even make sense how many balls Jannik Sinner gets back in the court. It's amazing how he gets the passing shot down, gets the lob up, and as you said, so much time to think about that overhead, but a great finish from Jarry.
He's playing a good game here to get out of trouble. This is about as well as he's played, Jarry.
40-30.
Sinner was trying to make a move here, wasn't he? And it's not past tense yet.
That was beyond special. The best point of the match for Jarry thus far. And the fans appreciated the skill. 4-3 second set. Let's have a look at it again. Sinner's ability to just fight off shot after shot. He's defending for all he's worth. It's Jarry who's dictating, sending him from coast to coast. Beautiful, subtle change, but plenty of work to do after the dig.
I don't know if you guys can feel it up there, but I'm getting absolute goosebumps from both of these guys with their movement, how big they're hitting the ball. It sounds like a shotgun's going off every time they make contact. Two heavyweights.
Well, the last game or two, with players just starting to up the ante a bit. Quality has gone up a couple of decimal points.
Well,
I think Fitzy, this is maybe what you're talking about.
yeah.
Just Nicolas Jarry taking a little bit extra time, and I was looking at Jannik Sinner, and he kind of looked a little disturbed by that. You know, he wants to get things going in that minute and a half, and wants to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. It's up to the umpire, Nick.
15 love.
You have to play to the server, by the way. The speed of the server. Generally.
I think the general rule or consensus is that the first 15 seconds belongs to both players. You can't quick serve somebody and then quickly go over to the other side and then, you know, I'm waiting for you. That's the bar that the chair umpires tend to use. So by 10 seconds, if you're not ready to return, you could get a warning. I definitely think there's a bit more leniency around the time at the majors versus when the players play at regular tour events. that at regular tour events now, it's the norm that the ball kids can bring the towels out to the players. Players can request that. That's not the case here at the majors.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's part of what we're doing here. The shot clock's still not on because the umpire's seen that both players have gone to get towels, and that's what the rule is made for, isn't it? Like now he puts it on when they put the towel back. What logic is that? Nick, I'm blaming you for getting me riled up again.
You know what? I'm
Can you not go there again, please, mate?
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. We got to get on the chair umpire now. That's what we're going to get on.
Yeah, Sinner has to hit that ball deeper, doesn't he? He's so deep that it must be hard to get himself to hit with such height and depth on that first return. But if he drops it short here, so he's so far back and he drops it short, right in the middle of the court, and that's good night. If he's going to stand back there, it has to be higher and deeper.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on this game. These balls are pretty fluffy right now, and so that's giving Jannik Sinner a little bit more time to get to some of these bigger shots. And Nicolas Jarry still going for the lines, so we'll see if he can find him with a slower ball right now.
Some skill there, Nick, wasn't there?
I mean, that was unbelievable. I thought for a second, okay, he's going to let it drop. He's going to hit a big forehand approach shot. And even Jannik Sinner just had to have a little smirk after that, as if to say, okay, man, if you can hit that, that's just too good. But I want you to do it for 3 out of 5 sets.
Yeah. Good feel from the big fella.
Oh, I mean, that is beyond special.
That was Robbie Koenig hands right there.
Oh, if only. I mean, it's such a big point, Nick. The difference between 30-15 and 15-30 when you're stepping up to the line in 4-all, you know, psychologically, it's a bit of a momentum switch. There's pressure, a lot more pressure at 15-30. That serve out wide has been very fruitful for Nicolas Jarry and his Chilean fans. He's a game away from squaring things up here. Well, quick look at the Jarry serve, and especially out on the juice side. And you can see all those blue balls there. There's plenty of them. Those are the points he wins when he makes that first serve, and he has given him a steady diet of those. It's a great way to start off a service game. And because he's winning so many of them, it gives him a head start, right? 15-love every time. And he tends to take a bit of the pace. The average pace of that serve out wide is a little slower. It's adorned with all manner of spin. It's the spin that's doing the damage together with the accuracy. And then, of course, when you're as tall as he is, can exploit the angles out wide even better.
Time.
Fitzy and Robbie, what do you think? Was that the best 2 service games from Nicolas Jarry that we've seen? Is he starting to play some of his best tennis?
Yeah, I think the level has risen. That was my comment a little earlier, Nick. I think both are playing better.
Yeah, I think Jannik's, you know, he won the first set 7-5. It was a toss of the coin, really. I think he's played a little better here. He's been more aggressive, I think, with his forehand. It's more like his normal style of approach. Yeah, I think the level's gone up a fraction.
Yeah, both players with more winners than unforced errors.
Well, if he's good enough to hit that reasonably well, it's a tough gig for Nicolas Jarry to change this big body. Change direction.
Yeah, this is a piece of art right there.
I guess the pros and cons of being such a big man on a tennis court. There's a lot of pros about it. And a good body serve. So he's thinking, isn't he? Of course he is. Or did I forget he was ranked #1 in the world?
Just for a split second there.
It was unintentional.
And what a season it was for Jannik. He won both hardcourt majors, 3 Masters 1000 and the Tour finals. Led Team Italy to another Davis Cup championship. And let's not forget, he ended his campaign on a 26-set winning streak. Hard to believe.
Yeah, Jannik Sinner just barely missed that shot, and the ball kids were already rolling the balls down to the other side of the court. They expect him to make that on every occasion, but he's still got to finish this game.
Jannik Sinner.
And just to rubber stamp that season in 2024, how good Sinner was. He didn't lose to a single player ranked outside the top 20. And nobody straight setted him. He won at least 1 set in each of the 79 matches that he played. And only Roger Federer in 2005 had ever managed that.
The tough body.
Guys, I'll never live it down if I don't mention it right now, but his brother, Nico Jarry's brother, Diego Jarry, just now transferred to the school where I went to college, University of North Carolina. So a lot of those teammates are there at UNC are texting me right now, cheering on Nico Jarry, and the Tar Heels are going big for him.
Had some Australians there in recent times too, Nick.
15 all.
Yeah, we got a great team there at UNC. Sam Paul's the head coach, Trip Phillip, assistant coach, and now Diego Jarry is there, and they are definitely cheering hard in Chapel Hill for Nico to try to get this second set.
Yeah, Rinky Hijikata.
Rinky Hijikata, he's doing his thing, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fitzy.
Yes, I think who Fitzy was alluding to.
I was. We're a bit biased over here, Nick, you know.
As long as you're a Tar Heel, then we're all good.
It's you that made it famous, really, isn't it, Nick?
What's that, Fitzy?
Isn't it you that made it famous, really?
I mean,
in terms of athleticism?
Yeah, I mean, I graduated in 2004, so that was quite a while ago, 21 years ago. But yeah, we'll take that, Fitzy. We'll take that.
No basketballers of note out of there?
There's a decent guy, Michael Jordan, MJ. I think I'm wearing his shoes right now.
Okay, got a bit close to that one, didn't he? That was footwork, really, to blame on that missed forehand.
I always think one of the biggest distinguishing facts between good players and great players is that when great players get a ball that's short and central, they make you pay more often. They'll make you pay 9 times out of 10. Somebody in the next ranking category below, they'll only make you pay 8 times out of 10. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolute brilliance at end of range.
Yeah, give the man credit, Robbie, here.
14
Because Sinner
left.
threw the kitchen sink at him. Give credit where credit's due. Nicholas, well played.
Game, Jarry.
That's a massive hold. At the very least, Jarry
leads by 6 games to
is
5.
guaranteed a tie break. He'd love to get it done before then. He sits down at 6-5. He's got a lovely arc, big, deep knee bend. It's one thing being tall, and then again, better if you can maximize your height. It's certainly been the case for Nico.
Time.
Actually, he's had a rich tennis history, certainly on the men's side. They've had some seriously talented players. Who can ever forget Marcelo Rios? What a player he was. Fernando Gonzalez. One of the biggest forehands we ever saw on tour. Nicolas Massou.
15 left.
Olympic gold medalist 2 times over was Nico. Christian Garin. Hopefully he can get back to some of his best tennis. Always enjoy watching him play.
Hey, let's go back to my day. What about the Fiol brothers?
Yes.
Jaime and Alvaro? This is a tight match no matter what way you look at it.
40 love.
120 minutes in the making now, this one.
Game Sinner. Six games old, tiebreak.
So Darren Cahill there, just having a look at the pad that's in front of him. There's all the data and information. Our friends at Bolt 6. Have a look at patterns of play. Try and figure out tendencies, perhaps. Where is Jarry serving at break point? And then, of course, relay that information to Jannik on court. Tie-break time for a second time in this match. He was 50-50 in tie-breaks last season was Jarry. 13 wins, 13 losses. You can imagine that Sinner, with the year that he had, was exceptional, and he certainly was. 25 wins, 8 losses. That was almost a 76% win rate, and coming under the microscope of the tie-break.
One on.
Everything is amplified. No longer is it 4 points required to get a break. 1 point is enough. As you like. The Carrotto family seems to be growing.
2-1.
Nicolas Jarry almost ran out of his shoes right there. He's having to retie them and also take a seat. The shot clock hasn't started, Fitzy. Hasn't quite started yet for him.
There's his coach. Cesar Fabregas. Seared the line. Ace number 11. Sinner's got 7.
It's probably his go-to, really, isn't it? I mean, if he can make that first serve, it opens the court up for this forehand.
3-2.
Not an ace,
Jarry.
but this reply is pretty simple. And that's what he's planning for, I would think, a lot of the time when he goes wide there.
Why not when you've been that successful, Fitzy? Copy and paste. Last time they played in Beijing, it was a first-round encounter as well.
How valuable is depth?
4-3, Sinner.
Well, it's exactly what we saw in the opening set tie break. The ability of Sinner to put one more ball in play.
Sinner.
Just make it awkward enough. This time, the hands of Jarry can't bail him out of trouble.
You could see his shoulders were lifted. That he was feeling for that, wasn't he? He was nervous over that half volley. Well, it's a telling 2 points there, isn't it? All points don't mean the same.
Six, 3, Sinner.
Jannik now with 2 set points on serve. Put the second set on ice.
Well, I find that hard to comprehend. That was like a rush of blood from Jannik.
And when he was exchanging those ground strokes, I thought he's just being so disciplined, Fitzy. He was low, he was choosing big targets, and then that out of nowhere. Yep. Yeah. I think Ollie's thinking the same as me. That was the touch of a dinosaur's back foot.
Well, that's harsh. However,
it wasn't great.
It was a strange selection to start with. Under pressure, to hit a touch shot under pressure was harder, and then he didn't hit it in the middle. Here we go now.
Still a set point, though.
Game and second set, Sinner.
But he doesn't let it bother him. And Sinner takes a 2 sets to love lead. Another tiebreak where he has worked awfully hard. And he's got it. No break points for either player. There you can see the unforced errors for Jannik. He's kept those to a minimum and outstripped them with twice the number of winners. But my goodness, he must have given himself a fright with that drop shot, the attempted drop shot towards the tail end of the tiebreak. That was the best rally as far as Jarry is concerned. That was the touch that we were talking about. That was something special. Tennis from both. It's always good to be down under, even better when you've got one of the great Aussie bands being cranked out across the loudspeakers here on Rod Laver Arena. But a crowded house.
Make that New Zealand band.
Oh, they're New Zealand?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Neil Finn. We try to claim him a little bit. We really do.
They're Aussie. Thanks for enlightening me. And I like the New Zealanders a lot.
Oh, me too. I went there this year, drove from north to south. I thought they were one of the friendliest peoples I've ever seen, or been privileged to be with. They were so good, so polite. And Neil Finn, one of the best.
Sinner to serve.
It's a good piece of music knowledge there. Set number 3.
Best of five's hard mentally, isn't it? I mean, you've lost 2 sets, both tight, 7-6, 7-6. You've been out here 2 hours and nearly 15 minutes. You haven't won a set yet. You have to start again. It's a tough gig, mentally. Can he keep the level up now? You've got something so strong, haven't you, to tell me?
No, I haven't.
40-50.
Come on, Robbie.
No, you
Neil
were right.
Finn.
Neil Finn is the main singer and songwriter for the band, who's a Kiwi, but
But you were right too.
a little bit. Of course, many of the other band members actually hail from this neck of the woods. Band's origin is right here in Melbourne, Australia. A couple of Aussie members to supplement Neil. Certainly did some bopping and weaving to those songs down in Toorak back in the day.
Game, Sinner. New balls, please.
For me, it'll be interesting now whether Nicolas can maintain this level into the third set. In some ways, if he could win the third, it might be easier to do that into the fourth.
I'll call it in. Do they know the attention?
Yeah, same.
I wonder if he's called for a trainer there. Nick, can you decipher anything?
Yeah, it looks like he might have called for just his racket to be taken to the stringer, and then I think he just took it right back. So let's see what happens here.
Good. Well, that would be a good result.
Quick question, gentlemen. Those blue grips that you see on Jarry's racket, what are they?
You know, you've asked me this before.
Nick, do you know what grip those are?
I mean, obviously the easiest answer is going to be a Turner grip, but I know you're going to tell us that's something else.
No, it's not. But how do you know it's a Turner grip?
Well, you know, and it's blue and it's a grip that doesn't slip. I think that's their logo, and it's you know, a bit dry, and you see the kind of fraying, you know, from the grip there when
But
you've
the
been using it a while.
distinguishing feature is the color, right?
Yep.
And that color is trademarked. It's one of the very few colors that is trademarked in the world, and it's a great story. The Niksich family, that dad was an engineer, and he developed it. He was trying to develop a chamois. And he himself was a very keen
15 left.
racquetball player and tennis player, and he was sweating so much he thought, well, the chamois that I'm developing, I'm going to use it on my tennis racket, on my squash grip. And he thought, this is pretty good. And some of his friends saw it, and he shared it with his friends, and that was the start of the Turner grip story.
Well, I actually know that I've used this once already today, but you are definitely a font.
It's so true.
A font
We
of
love
knowledge.
Tony.
And he said the Turner grip was colourful. So is he, Nick. He's a colourful man.
Robbie, who do you think was the player who kind of made it famous, right? It's got to start with somebody. There's got to be a top player that uses it. And I remember Pete Sampras used it his entire career. And that was kind of, I remember watching him use it and say, okay, I want to use that grip.
Well, the Niksich family said that was the first time a player ever got an endorsement deal with an accessory. And once Pete started using it and advertising it, it just went through the roof. That's quality. That's tennis excellence right there from both.
30.
You know what I love seeing is just the extra effort and energy. And you know, I don't know if it's extra, it's the same. You know, Nicolas Jarry has just been the exact same throughout this match. We haven't seen any negativity. He's giving a lot of fist pumps to his coach. You know, he stayed very even keel, and that's what's so impressive from him, considering he's lost his last 4 first rounds at the Grand Slams.
He's a positive character, isn't he? Certainly comes across that way.
It's not going to cut it.
was not his best choice for the day. And it's just a little bit dangerous by the weight.
30 all.
I mean, it goes back there to the point of Sinner just putting another extra ball in play, asking the question.
Should have been 40-15. It's now 30 all.
We might be putting a little asterisk alongside 30-15 point Fitzy. Neither player has been broken in this match so far. Well, that is this match in a nutshell.
Sinner leads by 2 games to none.
Too many easy misses right off the back of Jannik just putting the ball back in play.
As Nicolas Jarry was discussing right before that overhead, and there was probably 2 shots before the overhead, the wind picked up just a little bit, and wasn't a lot, but it was just enough for that ball to move. And as we talked about, it's not an easy shot moving forward, hitting an overhead. That's not a shot that a lot of players practice, and the wind got him there.
Later,
That was sweet.
Love 15.
It shows you the effect of cutting off the angle when you're moving to a wide shot. Final step is moving on the V. That just takes away that split second of time from your opponent, makes the winner possible. They're going to have lots to support in the years to come. Italian tennis flying high on both the men's and women's side. Ten players inside the top 100, Fitzy. We've got Sinner, Massetti, Flavio Cobolli, who was playing such good tennis at the United Cup. Matteo Berrettini, who's starting to claw his way back up the rankings. With Lorenzo Sonego, Fabio Fognini still top 100. Luciano Darderi, Matteo Arnoldi.
You've got to love his competitiveness here. Nicolas Jarry, he's frustrated. He's not on the board yet. 7-6, 7-6. 2-love down, and he just wants to give it everything and see what happens here. Trying to force his way back into this game.
Jannik Sinner.
Yeah, I can see the checkered flag in the distance, and he wants to race
Sinner leads
towards
by
it.
3 games to love.
Jannik leads 3-love in the third. At the moment of impact, there's equilibrium in the balance. Just for that split second, to organize the body, contort it. It doesn't get much better than this. It's the 56th edition of the Australian Open in the Open era. Of course, it used to be called the Australian Championships before we got into the Open era. And this is the 38th year that we are at Melbourne Park. Fitzy and I were talking about that epic final when this place was baptized in 1988 with Pat Cash and Mats Villan on the men's side. And it's become the home of the first tennis major ever since.
Of
course, we had a memorable final last year with Jannik Sinner coming back from 2-0 down against Daniil Medvedev to win his very first major. I've got a question for both of you. If you asked Sinner right now at the start of the year, would you sign for the same season you had last year? Do you think he would put pen to paper? Would he back himself to win another major or do better?
Is the question, would he, if he knew he was going to have as successful a year as he had last year, would he sign up for it? Is that the question?
Yes.
Does that include the same 2 majors?
It's a nuance. That's what it's all about. That's a good question.
Well, I think it's a reasonable question.
It is. It's a very good question.
I think you'd sign up for it, wouldn't you? Even if it wasn't the other 2. Not sure about Nick. He might have higher aspirations, but gee, #1 in the world.
Yeah.
Won 2 majors. You win the same ones again. You win the ATP Tour Finals. Win Davis Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I think, come on, guys, let's be honest. I think any player, if they feel like, hey, at the beginning of the year, you're going to win. Somebody tells them they're going to win 2 majors, and as you said, win the final 8 at the end of the year as well. Finish #1 in the world by over 3,000 points. You got to take that, right? And you have to take that, don't you, Robbie?
Nick, I'm going to qualify qualify that by saying that's how us mere mortals think. These guys are different to us, though. They just think differently.
Yep.
And I think that's why, you know, you get these players that are able to win. I don't know how many majors Sinner might win when it's all said and done, but that's why Djokovic wins 20 plus, Nadal, Federer. They are just, they think differently, right?
Plus, there's only 2 males in history that have won all 4 major championships in a calendar year. There's only 2 of them. One of them happened to do it twice, once in the amateur days, once in the professional days.
15 left.
This stadium's named after him. And Sir Donald Budge was the other one. So Novak didn't do it. He was so close.
Yeah, 1 match away.
Yeah. Do you think Sinner would aspire to that as a non-mere mortal? Yes, everyone aspires to it.
Yep. I think he'd back himself to win 3 majors this year. I mean, that's the ultimate barometer.
Which is the hardest one for him to win? Is it the French or is it
I think it's
Wimbledon? So he has the 2 hard court ones. This one and the US Open.
And we know what his whole
14
record is
left.
like. You just have to have a look at the season that he had. He won 53 of 56 hard court matches, 42 of those in straight sets.
Game, Sinner.
Nice speedy hold.
Sinner
Jannik's well on
leads
his
by
way now
4 games
to
to 1.
a spot in the second round. 2 sets to love and 4-1. Sets he dropped last year in the semis and the final. So the final was a big comeback.
Robbie, that's important. Very, very important that 5 of his 7 matches were won in straight sets. Because that enables these great players who think differently to us mere mortals. It enables them to save some energy in that first week. And prepare themselves for the onslaught in the second.
Great beaches of the world is Bondi. Managed to take a trip down there. It's a beautiful part of the world, Sydney. Some amazing beaches. Wow. Probably a slightly bigger fan of Manly, but I think because it's got such nice inhabitants. You know what?
Don't go there. Don't talk about Wally.
I want to talk about Wally. I love that man, and I hope he and his wife are doing well.
Yeah.
They're always in our thoughts.
Send them our best.
Yeah, you know what I love from Nicolas Jarry right now is just, again, the continued fist pumps, and he's saying a lot of vamos and trying to get the crowd behind him and his coach. And he's showing Jannik Sinner he's not going anywhere. He's down 2 sets to love, 4-1 a break. But this guy just he wants to show he's not going anywhere, and that is a big key quality of these top players.
he's just losing the top end a little bit now, I think. But you could find an argument to say he deserved to win a set here. I mean, it's not over, we know that, and stranger things have happened, but the writing is starting to appear on the wall. But gee, he was good for 2 sets. He certainly doesn't, or wants his opponent to have to serve this out if he's going to beat him. Okay, Jannik, you're going to have to serve it out against me. He doesn't want to lose this serve again. Make it a coast to the line.
Sinner's kept it tighter than the taxman's purse there with just the 12 unforced errors and 2.5 sets.
Game, Sinner.
Well, that should do it for Jannik now. I think we're pretty close to the last rites.
He's worn him down, hasn't he?
By 5 games to 1.
Serving for a place in the second round against either Tristan Skolkate or Taro Daniel.
Thank you.
It's happened fast in the end, but it was a heck of a contest for a long period of time.
Tattooed that forehand. After 2 hours and 40 minutes, he has got 3 match points.
Jannik Sinner.
And Jannik Sinner
3 sets to love.
extends
7-6, 7-6.
his match-winning
6-1.
streak to 16 now. And the last 14 matches have all been won in straight sets. It's the same again today. He takes care of a tricky customer in Nicolas Jarry. And he beats him 7-6, 7-6, 6-1 to advance through to the second round.
Well, he did enough. Had to really fight a great opponent today. Jarry is a credit to himself how he competes. He's a good player, Nicolas, and he comes from good stock. And one of those first 2 sets could have gone the other way. You'd be fair, I think, to say, well, maybe it should have been a set all in reality, but it wasn't. He won both of them in close encounters and then ran away with the third, did the #1 player, and he's on his way.
Always nice to get that first one under your belt, and especially so given the fact that Jarry is the highest ranked player to play #1 seed in the first round of a major since Djokovic at Wimbledon way back in 2015. So there was the potential for this to be a banana peel for Sinner, but when it mattered, he was able to put that extra ball in play, ask the question. Just the mental toughness when his game was under the microscope of those opening 2-set tie breaks. And he's going to have a chat with our co-commentator, Nicholas Monroe.
Jannik, an amazing performance out there. First 2 sets, 7-6, 7-6, playing against a tough opponent, Nicolas Jarry. How would you assess your performance here in the first round?
Yes, first of all, I'm very, very happy to be back here, so thank you so much for coming. The atmosphere has been amazing. I think today was a very close one because the first sets, they can go both ways, and in the third set, when I broke him the first time, then gave me a little bit of room to breathe. But he's an incredible player, a huge potential. So I'm happy how I handled a very tough situation in the first couple of sets, and yeah, happy to be in the next round.
Well, big time stuff, and absolutely. And you're defending champion here. So what is it that you love about Australia, these fans, this court? What is it that you love about this country?
So many things, but mostly the crowd and the fan. They give me so much support, and it's very, very nice to be back here. Obviously, I also like the hard courts here, but let's see. Every year is different. Every day is different. It's I'm happy to be again in the next round. We try to improve. Obviously, I have a couple of things, but I can surely do better. But first official match of the year for me, so very, very happy.
And you have so many people, so many kids that are inspired by you, and they want to be Jannik Sinner. What words of advice would you give to some of these kids for this game that want to be like you?
Well, you need also a little bit of luck, I have to say. But I was lucky to have the right people at the right time. You have to enjoy also the tough moments and the difficult moments, which they will always come up. And no, just trying to put a smile on your face, work hard, and obviously family and the close people, they always go first. So that's my advice to you, and I wish every young kid, and not only, best of luck. Thank you.
And not only are you inspiring kids, but you're inspiring so many of the professional tennis players to become better players. The level that you're putting out here is amazing. And I've always wanted to ask you, what is your why? What motivates you to become the best player that you can be day in and day out?
I believe that success should never change us as person and as how we are. So obviously I had an amazing last year and with a lot of success, but it never changed me as how I am. And there are so many great players which continue to motivate me, and you know, I'm just looking forward to, you know, I have to say the best team in the world, so I'm happy to have them, and then obviously we try to improve.
So now you're moving on to the second round, playing the winner of Taro Daniel and Tristan Schoolkate. They're in the middle of a match right now. How do you prepare for a second round? Do you watch video? Are you big into analytics? Kind of how do you prepare for your matches moving forward?
Yeah, I saw that they are now third set. So
you're watching the video board?
Yeah, I watch always the score. This is always very nice, entertaining. But no, it's let's see. You know, as I said, now I have 2 days off, which is good after my first match. You know, trying to get the right rhythm for the next match, and obviously I'm gonna watch some videos, and hopefully I'm prepared for the next one.
Well, I'll show you. Let's give a big hand to Jannik Sinner, moving on to second round.
Had to work hard today for the W. But he will go back and reassess with his team how he felt out there. He'll give some feedback. Certainly some nervy situations, especially towards the tail end of that second set when he was up 6-3, 2 serves to come. All that matters is that he is through to the second round in straight sets, as you were alluding to, Fitzy.
Well, I think he summed it up. He said there's a few things still to work on. Of course there is. There always is, but in the early stages you don't want to play your best tennis. And he didn't play his best tennis, but at times he was really good, and he got a little better consistently, I think, overall towards the end of the match. So look, he'll be very happy to get through that in straight sets. It was 3 tough sets, but nevertheless 3 straight.
Yeah, Schoolkate and Taro Daniel have split opening sets in a tiebreak, and so I'll be hoping they go long. Spend a lot of energy. He'll wait the winner of that one. Well, that's it as far as center court is concerned today here on the Rod Laver Arena. Jannik Sinner marching into the second round with a straight set victory against the Chilean. That was a lot of fun. My thanks to Fitzy and Nick Monroe courtside, and we look forward to your company a little later. From all of us here on the Rod Laver Arena, it's goodbye for now.